Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been an interesting times, and this is what a lot of people's been talking about. This is the things I've been talking about, and it's amazing how we tend to sometimes get so fast, and the devil wants us to move so fast that we we stop listening. The Lord taught me years back. He says, being the hearing, but continue to move. Continue to move, but be still and hear, but yet move. Which, being in that hearing and moving sometimes gets very difficult for us, and sometimes gets to the point where we uh, forget to stop and thank the Lord for things. We forget to thank God for who He is and what all was done for us. We can go on and on and on about uh, this thing. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. The fan kicks on. We can go on and on and on, but yet prayer is one of the most important things that we can do. We were Darlene and I were talking yesterday about just the events, the darkness and all these things that are happening. See, the evil is growing, people. It's coming more and more, and the events that are taking place, even the things that I've been seeing in dreams and visions. I mean, we're here. You know, we're so busy fast forward looking at what the Antichrist is doing and what the devil's doing than what we're looking at what God's capable of doing and what God is doing in our lives. In order for us to be able to see what he's doing, sometimes you got to go through difficult times, but every task we go through in life, God has a purpose, plan, and a reason for it. We may never understand it. We may never understand God's his timing that he has, because we're fast forward. We want it now, and that's what the devil's been doing. He wants everything in our lives to be fast, that we skip over things. A good example was the movie Click by Adam Sandler. I use that a lot. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Before you know it, you're fast forwarding over the very important things in life. Lucifer's out there. He's robbing the kids away from you. He's taking financial. He's putting you in places. But yet, Lucifer's also here to collect. When we start praying for people, it's his investment. He's not giving up on it. Just like your investment that you invest in your 401k, your stock, or whatever that you have purchased, and you're going to watch it very closely. He does the same thing. It's amazing how we just give things to Lucifer, but we expect God to give to us and not give time back to God. We freely give up our time at the bars. We freely give up our time social media and hanging out and doing things that we shouldn't be doing. You clearly give up time when you're in the need for God and Jesus, the ATM effect. But people, I've been seeing some horrible things. I'm telling you, I've been seeing wars strike here. I've been seeing buildings crumbling. Um, just like I was talking to Darlene right before, I think it was November, and telling her that I thought it was going to be um, oh, New Year's Eve. I pictured the building running this way, and it looked like a circle of people coming in, but then it kind of looked like an old. The way it was looking, it was kind of reminding me of um, an old like stadium type thing. But then it looked like there was like a fountain or something in the middle of it or something. I couldn't tell what it was. I just seen like a shiny object. And then when she showed me the picture of San Francisco when they were celebrating, not San Francisco, Kansas City Chiefs, when they were celebrating and that shooting took place. As soon as she showed me the picture, I said, "That's it. That's the place that I seen. That's what I thought was New York. And she says, no, this is Kansas City. This is what happened there. Amazing. You know, and those are the times that I wish I could have warned people. But you know what? God's given us warning. We're talking about things. You know, we see the copycats. We see it is, but, you know, then again, Lucifer is out there claiming what's his. So you got to be very careful, because he's not backing away. His time's increasing. See, the wailing out and the people yelling at the end is very much going to be a lot of Christians. Not so much the sinners, because they're not going to believe it anyways. They're going to believe in the alien abductions and all this alien stuff that's coming out now, and all these things that are happening. They're programming, they're getting us ready to tell us that it was aliens. Go back a few videos back when I stopped. I almost stopped in the middle of an expressway because that thing was hovering over me. Think what you want, people. You know, when you're left here, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Nobody. You can't blame the government. We can't be mad at the government, because we got to be mad at ourselves, because we're sitting here silent and complaining to each other. When was the last time you got together with a group of people and started praying? I'm talking about you, so-called, that you want to call yourself Christian. Not the ones that are obedient to God and the ones that go and pray to God. I'm talking about the die-hard people that truly seek God daily and give thanksgiving for all that He's done. We have a lot to be thankful for. If you have food on your table, you can be thankful. Your utilities are met, you can be thankful. You have a job, and I know some of you may go, well, Nelson, I got to work every day for this. I got to work hard. Well, yeah, there's nowhere in the Bible where it says we will not labor. We will not go and have to do things. Go back to when I did that video about plowing the fields. He may call you to plant the seeds. He may call you to go back and cover the seeds. He may call you to go out and harvest it. Then there may be a time when He just calls you to enjoy the harvest. And those are the glorious times. But if we don't get our hands dirty, where are we at? We're like the world. We become of the world. Doesn't matter how much clothing you own. It doesn't matter how much stock you own. It doesn't matter how big your property is, how big your home is, how big your swimming pool is, indoor pools, outdoor pools. I just look at it, some of these people in the music industry and sports and all this, I look at it, what a craziness. You could be doing so much good. You can't take it with you. Your kids as kids may enjoy it, but they're not going to appreciate it. They didn't earn it. Well, we didn't earn Christ's love. We didn't earn the cross, but He gave it to us. What a heck of a gift. You know, I spoke about them locusts. I also spoke about animals washing ashore, and I spoke about shortages, and these shortages are coming, people. They're just showing us slowly. Look, I spoke about the fertilizers, the organic stuff. You know, organic is crazy to me, because they raise the prices because of all how they grow it and treat it. But then they're splicing all these things together, these apples and pears and apples and cauliflower and broccoli together. That's your organic garbage. That's what they're doing. So many of you say you don't trust the government. Well, you're trusting them to grow your food. They're taking over more and more farms. We don't even know what's actually government farmed and what's not. And no, I'm not on an anti-government thing right now. I'm just speaking the truth. It's amazing what some people stand for and what they believe. Just like I was talking to a couple people about Martin Luther King. I had no clue what he stood for. I said, well, what you're standing for, he didn't stand for. They wanted to know, one guy asked me, he wanted to know why white people get Martin Luther King Day off. I said, well, why does black people get President's Day off? Well, there was a black president. Okay, but there was more white presidents than black president. If you get Martin Luther King Day off, then we should get President's Day off. And you should have to work. Well, that's not fair because we have a black president. So you want a bunch of holidays, but you see how the devil can turn this into a debate? And I was like, well, I'm sorry that you feel that, the way you feel. And he's like, well, I said, but why? Because we get mistreated? I said, no, because you don't even know who Martin Luther King really was. I'm a white person, as you claim, a white person, but yet I know who Martin Luther King was and what he stood for. What a brilliant man. A loving man. A godly man. I wish more people would actually understand Martin Luther King. There was a tragedy. Yes, very much tragedy that he died. But how are we honoring Martin Luther King by throwing up this, our white pride, my favorite, the Nazis? Because every time you throw up that fist, and every time you walk around with white pride, and every time you walk around doing that, you might as well just walk and do this, because you are no different than Hitler. Instead, we're losing this battle to the devil. We're losing it. We're losing it because we're allowing God to be taken out of everything, and we're sitting back. When this world starts turning, and it's going to start turning real soon, I seen destruction, people, of things that are coming. I've seen food. I've seen stores shutting down. Financial crisis. I was walking and I seen this newspaper stand. When was the last time anybody really seen it? You remember back in the day, you used to be able to go and put money. I think it was I don't even remember. I think it was a quarter, if I can remember right, going to the paper box. Blue boxes. If anybody lived in Akron, you have blue boxes. Put a quarter in there, you got a newspaper. Sunday, it used to be 50 cents, and then 75, and then $1, $1.50, $2. When it hit $2, I don't think anybody bought a paper. I don't even think after it hit $1.75, anybody bought a paper out of there. And if they did, they were leaving the dang on paper box open. So what does that tell you? You get tired of things. But it didn't make it right to do what people would do. Wait a second. Sorry about that. I had to restart that system. Anyways, it's not going to get easier, people. It's honestly, again, I keep going back to this dream I had. We're not allowing God to be God. We're forgetting to look at the difficult times and ask God, what do you want me to do in this time? Instead of waking up in the morning and being thankful, we're complaining. I've been through a lot, and I've seen a lot, and I looked at life totally different, and you just start falling into dark places. And there's a lot of things that I started questioning. Why does these things keep happening? And and then the devil steps in, and the devil wants to get in your head, and the devil wants to, because you're not doing God's work. He's not pleased with you, and And then before you know it, you're having thoughts, you're thinking about the past, and you're thinking about things that you've asked for repentance from. And I mean, there's so much, you know, when the devil stops knocking, you're probably walking closer to the devil than you think. You know, kids, financial, he's done so much. I've been falsely accused at work. I've been falsely accused at different trucking places, with my children. And I just look at it and I go, because I'd be a hypocrite to sit here and say, did it bother me? Yes. I mean, nobody wants to hear some of that stuff that people accuse you of. But I stood firm on who I was as a person. And no matter the outtake, I have to understand that God has a purpose, plan, and a reason for it. I may not see it. I may not understand it. Can I ask God why? Yes, sure. I think we stop asking God things, to be honest with you. I think we literally stop asking God why this is happening. I think we stop going to Jesus in prayer and asking Jesus, hold on. Put that freaking brace on. Sometimes it hurts. But sometimes we stop asking Jesus and we go to the different source. We fall into Lucifer's source of it. People, the only thing I can tell you right now is to prepare. Is I'm telling you, I keep seeing. I want to say it's in March, April. I'm leaning more towards March. I mean April. March, I'm looking. I'm leaning. I keep seeing something freezing, and I seen fruit falling off of trees, and then again, that could be from the locusts. I mean, I don't know, but I seen like ice hanging off of trees, and our produce went through the roof, and I seen fields not doing good this year. I seen a lot of dryness. I mean, farmers walking out and just doing this, and their vines of their crop is just disintegrating. But April, I want to say it's April. For some reason, April just keeps coming to my mind, but I could be wrong on this. I mean, just because I see it and it doesn't happen when it does, that's where people want to start putting the falseness to it or whatever. I've written stuff down, people that it's taken years for it to happen. But lately, the things that I've been speaking about and things that I've been seeing, it's coming quickly. But I see a total darkness. I mean, like dark. Like, it's crazy. But June and July, I keep seeing another change of event. Something big is going to change. Something is drastic going to happen. October, November, same thing. Like devastating things. I also seen construction areas becoming the barrels and stuff stacking up, but in the process of that, I seen National Guard and I seen Army personnel standing by these barrels. So, which tells me that we're getting ready to either shut something down or something bad has happened. I don't know. All I know is I want to be ready for when Christ comes. If I have to go to New York, then go to New York, to Eden, so be it. If I have to travel back and forth to bring the people, then I trust in God. If He spares me from it and raises me up, great. Either way, I'll know I'm here. But maybe it's for some of you that are watching these videos. Maybe. You know, a lot of these dreams and a lot of these visions that, you know, a couple of days ago, I had one about a financial stop. I mean, basically, I seen a clock just stop. And then there was this row of TVs like they used to have back in the olden days when you walk. I say olden days like I'm super old, but man, I'm starting to feel old thinking about how things used to be. And you walk down there and you see the displays and stuff in the windows, and that's how they got you in their stores. But I seen banks sending out notices that they were shutting down for some kind of restructure with the the banks and stuff, and then it turned to be a total shutdown. And then the grids went out. Something made it happen. I don't know. But we became one currency, just like we're about to become one. We're already forming one orders. You know, the United States, different states are trying to come together. Different countries are already doing it. So we're getting ready to put the Antichrist into place. We're getting ready to appoint the Antichrist. Now, I'll tell you something. Somebody asked me a while back, and I said, I don't think you really want my honest opinion. You know, because I know who the Lord showed me. But evil's evil. The devil can also change things and stay a step ahead of things too. But we also know that the Bible says the Antichrist is a Middle Eastern from that era. So I said, what? Because a lot of people think Donald Trump is the Antichrist. I said, no, I believe at times he falls into God, and I think other times that he falls into pridefulness, and he's just becoming a very prideful man again. You know, but because he can't be too boastful and too prideful, because look at the stack of things that are against him. Now, there's no way all these things could be wrong, people. There's no way. There's no way he is not guilty unless they convicted him of not guilty. I mean, unless they gave him a not guilty, but yet he's being convicted of these things. I mean, there's actual hard evidence and proof that he did some of these things. It just shows that he's human. But to sit there, my thing is, if you're going to sit there and lie about it and the evidence, and there is supposedly all this stuff that we don't know about, then knock it off. You know, just, it's, you did something, you did it. And there's a lot of times that I got to look at that in my life, myself. But these events are coming. These things are getting ready to take place, and we have to be ready. Because again, I'm just telling you, if you can't make it right now, and you're not strong enough to make it right now, then you're not going to do well when it comes time to take on that mark. They're already starting to do it, people. And they're willingly doing it. I'm telling you, I've seen the barcode things. I've seen people starting to get this, it looked like a sticker, but it looks like it would disappear. Like the stuff would disappear around like a fake tattoo type thing. And the guy said, no, eventually it's going to just disappear. But I'll still be able to scan it when these self-scanners come out. That's crazy. It's the most ridiculous thing. I mean, it's just, it's actually kind of sad. It's sad where we're at. And but it's sad even in the vision I had a long time ago about, you know, the people running to the mountains and stuff, and it was like Revelation just coming to life. But then when I realized these were Christians, and then when I realized in hell the people in the front working their way back are Christians, so-called Christians, they're in hell being tortured because you lived on I'm good. Or you lived on thinking that I was a better person than my neighbor? Or you lived on the fact that the check marks of the good deeds and good works and good things that you've done got you nowhere but straight into hell? Because you're under a pastor that is spiritually asleep, and so are you. You're under a pastor that is not awake. See, people don't want to hear this stuff. I remember a guy that was in South Daytona, ended up going to Missouri and becoming a lead pastor. And I told him, I said, God has something better for you. He's about to put you in a bigger position. But don't forget where you're at. And don't become prideful. Sure enough, he did exactly what it is. And then I sent him another message. You got to be God will remove these things from you. He's done it. Well, I haven't talked to him in years. Because all he kept saying was, I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray. But yet you believed me when I was telling you good. You believed me when it was glorifying you. But you was afraid to let me come speak because you were afraid that people were going to like hearing someone else. And that's the truth, people. One day he may admit it to me. He may never. But that's okay. Because I don't ever really think I will ever talk to him again unless it's God's will and God's crossing of paths. Which God has done that lately. Brought many people that I'd never thought I would talk to again. Crossed our paths again. But why? That's the interesting thing. Why? What is the purpose of it? There's a purpose, plan, and the reason for everything God does, or it doesn't happen, people. Because if we're not in God's lining, then we're in Lucifer's lining. And we better watch what line we're in. Because you could just be falling short. You know, if you go to church, then start paying attention to your church. Start paying attention to what's going on around you. And what the pastor prays, what he preaches about. Is he a praying person? Is he bringing people to the altar? Is he sitting there with them? Is he going up to them and discipling? Is there a discipleship that are taking the new Christians that are coming and talking with them, sitting down? Because we all know what's going to happen. Lucifer's going to pull them in a million directions, and they're going to fall because there's nobody there to continue to help them. I'm telling you, it's happening all over. I'm getting so sick of hearing we had a great revival and we brought 1,300 people into the Lord. But where are them 1,300 people? Because if all this was true, and Billy Graham too, the 3,000, 4,000, all this stuff. If you think about all these people that are saying they have brought people to Christ, and these people were still there because it's set, there's no one there. Now Billy Graham, yes, he's traveling around, but a local church, it shouldn't be like that. Where is all these Christians then? Anybody ever think about this stuff? I mean, really think about it. Look at your families. Look at the stuff in your house. Some of you won't even clean out your own house. And then tell me how you're serving God. You're allowing witchcraft stuff and demonic stuff into your home, but you claim to be a Christian. I remember back in the day when you used to be able to compliment somebody. And now all of a sudden you're a predator or something else. Because somebody's given you a title and somebody's talked ill about you and people believe it. I never thought half the stuff would happen the way it happens, but it does. My kids, yeah, the older they got, I didn't expect much. things happen. Still got to pray for them. How do you know you're over something? When you can pray for it. No matter how bad somebody's been in your life, when you can pray for them, you know you have forgiven. And that's where you got to be. Instead of falsely accusing someone, maybe you should go up and ask the person. And make a judgment off of the person. But if you don't really know the person, you're going to go off of what everybody else is. If you don't really know Christ, then you don't really know what he's capable of doing for you. It's crazy. But I'm going to do, probably today, I'm going to work on what I believe is what we're going to see this year through what I've been seeing through visions. But I finished off that hell video. So I'm going to post that one first. And then, because I've been talking about it, and I'm a good example. I have to do as I say. So I want to get that up there and do the vision one, and then with the vision and the things that I've been seeing is the upcoming events and all that is kind of all in one video. So, but then there's a couple other videos that I've been working on that it's been taking me a little bit of time to get it together on paper, than in my mind, from my mind to paper, then paper onto here. But so examine, people. It's time to examine and ask Jesus to help you. If you can't do it, examine your home more now than ever. That's all I can tell you. Start cleaning and getting this stuff out of there. Start getting a hold of what your children are doing. You're going to be surprised to find out, but you can't let the devil blame you either. I mean, it is everybody's fault that these things are happening. But what happens in your household is your fault. But you can't let the devil lay it on you. If you find drugs and your kids are teenagers, that's on them. That's not on you. Unless you do drugs in front of your kids. Some people are doing drugs with their kids. It's crazy. Because that's what they seen. They seen their dads doing drugs with them. So then the children grow up, they're doing drugs with but after watching their uncles die, after watching their mother die, and blaming everybody else. Like my one nephew blames God. It's God. God did this. No, God didn't do this. All of you did this. She did this. My sister did this to herself. Give me a break. God gets blamed for everything, but we get blamed for nothing. Because we stop looking at what Lucifer's doing and what we did, because it's easier to blame God. Today's the day we need to stop blaming God and start thanking God, because Lucifer didn't give you anything, but Lucifer will strip it from you quickly. When you're no good for Lucifer, he's taking you out of here. And he's sending you to a place of damnation, torture, and beyond what you have ever felt in your whole entire life. And you will feel every bit of it. But yet, no matter what we did here, when we repent and when we truly live a godly life, God's given us a peaceful place. Does it make any sense? Because your flesh wants, and you give it. I'm going to close on that note. God bless you guys. Love you. Till the next one.